And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and today I am talking with Tim Fitzpatrick, who is becoming a very fast dear friend of mine because we speak the same language. Tim, thanks for being with me today.
Michael, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Good. Hey, I am too. Tim is Tim owns a company called Rialto Marketing, and he helps. I love this on his website. It says marketing shouldn't be difficult. All you need is the right plan. And man, Tim, when I read that, I just bonded with you automatically. Like, this guy, I know I'm going to like him. So tell us kind of what you do. How in the world did you get into this business? What is it? And who do you help? And then we'll go from there, because you and I can talk marketing all day long.
Yes. Well, I'll condense my entrepreneurial journey. When I graduated from college, I was a math major, had no idea what I wanted to do. My dad had been an entrepreneur for a long time. He was a manufacturer's rep, and he had started a related distribution company a couple of years before I graduated. So when I got out, I knew he needed some help. He had no full-time employees in the distribution company at that point. And I said, man, let me help you for the summer while I figure out what the hell I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And that was all she wrote. Like, that's how it started. I ended up being in business with my dad for 10 years. We sold the company. Awesome. It was an amazing ride. I learned tons. It was like an on-the-job MBA. From there, I got involved in residential real estate, which I did not like. Okay. So I went from a very high place to a very low place. And then I shifted into marketing. I thought about, hey, gosh, where are my skill sets? What do I enjoy doing? And that's when I got involved in marketing, which is what I'm still doing today. Man, I learn new things every day in marketing. It absolutely. It keeps me engaged. But interestingly enough, what I focus on with marketing is the fundamentals that lay the foundation for you to build the rest of your house from. So what I find is so many business owners are battling information overload with marketing. And as a result, they're just not sure what that next step should be to get where they want to go. Yeah. So what we do is we work primarily with B2B service-based businesses, and we help them create, implement, and manage a marketing plan to communicate the right message to the right people so they can build results that last. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. I'm sure you want to dig into some of that.
I do, because you work with B2B specifically, which is great. So if you're not B2B, don't disconnect here, because everything Tim's going to share with you is totally applicable, right?
Yes, it is.
So foundations, which is great, because you talk to business owners every week, just like I do, and they're always chasing the next shiny object, right?
Yes.
And so many times they think that's going to be like the purple pill, the nirvana, that's my golden ticket, like Willy Wonka. It's like, no, it's not. You got to have strategy. But I love, I always tell people strategy before tactics.
Yes.
Because, Clubhouse, Facebook, LinkedIn, they all work. They're all channels if they're used properly and if they fit your strategy. And then you just hit people, so market and message. And I know you're big with systems and everything. So let's just go back to understanding from a business perspective, whether you're B2B, B2C, really doesn't matter. What's that foundation? Talk about, target audience and message. How important is that? And why is that the first place you need to go to start building if you're going to scale?
Yeah. So if you think about the fundamentals in any discipline, I don't care what it is, whether it's standing up to the plate to hit a fastball or hitting a golf ball or running a business, the fundamentals, they're immutable. They do not change.
Love that.
They are the same today as they were 50 years ago, and they're going to be the same 50 years from now. When I look at marketing, I call the fundamentals the marketing strategy trilogy. One, everything starts with your target market. Who are you going to serve, and how are you going to serve those people? Everything is built from there, because if you don't understand who you're going to work with, you're just like throwing stuff up against a wall, hoping it's going to stick. And if you don't understand who you serve best, and if you don't have the ability to enter that conversation that they're having in their head as it relates to what you do, you can't even move on to the next step, which is creating a message that's going to gain their attention and their interest. So we first have to understand who those people are. Once we understand who they are, then we can get into their head. But equally as important, we can start to identify and create a list. One of my mentors said success starts with a list. You can create a list of where the hell are these people?
Yeah.
Right. Too many people are just putting their message out anywhere, casting a line out into the middle of the ocean going, let me see what kind of fish I catch.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather know that I want to fish for trout and go to the local pond where the local trout farm, cast my line out and know that I'm fishing right where the trout are. And that's exactly what I want to catch.
Absolutely.
So everything starts from target market. If you skip it, you're just wasting time and money.
Yeah. That is so true, because it's and I want to go to the next one, because so many times, I mean, your target market, once you identify them, I mean, how many trout ponds or lakes are there, right? Well, there are lots.
Yes, there are.
So you make your list and you say, okay, now which ones do I want to go to? So that's
correct.
And then once I get there, what bait do I use, which is your message, right?
Yeah. What am I going to say?
If you're gonna go trout fishing and you use bass bait, you're not going to have much.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
Yeah. So talk about that. Talk about you kind of find them, you narrow it down, and now you're going fishing with a message. Talk about how you help business owners with that, because they struggle with that because they're not marketing guys, right?
Yes. Well, and look, I'll be honest. I struggled with this for my business. Like we all struggle with this for our own business.
Absolutely.
Because we can't think about our businesses objectively. We can't see the forest through the trees. So even though I do this all the time for people, I still need outside eyes for my own business, because it's just so hard for me to just go, oh yeah, gosh, that makes perfect sense. So if you're in this boat, you are not alone, and it is not your fault. So when we work on messaging, there are multiple ways to create messaging. So what I'm about to talk to you about is not the only way. It's just one of the ways that made the most sense to me. We use a modified version of Storybrand from Donald Miller, if you're familiar with that at all.
Yeah.
Where you're inviting people into a story.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about Storybrand is, look, we're all familiar with stories. We all love stories. They're engaging. They invite people in.
Right.
And when we use this framework, one, it helps us keep things consistent because we're not reinventing the wheel every time. It helps us focus our message on the customer, because our customers don't give a crap about us. They don't care. What they care about is how we can help them get from where they are to where they want to be, solve that problem that they have to accomplish their goals. And when you use this storytelling framework, that's what it does. It helps you focus your message on them. You're inviting them into a story where they're the hero and your business is the guide. Yeah. Because if you think about guides and stories, frankly, if you think about heroes and stories, man, they got problems. Like, oh my God, Luke Skywalker wants to become a Jedi. I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do. So he meets, Obi-Wan Kenobi or Yoda, whichever Star Wars it is, right? There's too many of them now. But Yoda has been in Luke's shoes. He knows exactly what Luke needs to do. And he says, look, Luke, you need to do 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to help you get to where you want to go. That's why we want to position ourselves as the guide. The guide knows what the hero needs to do to solve the problem. So we only talk about ourselves in our message enough to position us as the guide. The rest of our messaging is focused on the customer, the problems that they have, the results that they're looking for, right? Somebody put it to me this way one time, and it really resonated with me. It's like people, like they have a problem that they don't want, right?
Yeah.
And or there's this result that they want and they don't have.
Yeah.
Our message needs to focus on those two things. That's how we gain their attention and their interest.
Yeah. And that's great. And I'm going to jump in here, and I hope you agree with me.
Yeah.
When you're talking with somebody, and this happens in the consultation, the call, when you're face to face or on Zoom or on it, and you're focusing on that transformation, that what they want, and they say, yes, that's it. Shut up and gain the client, and then tell them everything else, right? Too many times what I found in myself and many others is we keep talking, yeah, but Tim, let me tell you about these other things. And they like, I don't care about that, right? Let's solve the customers. Yes, you might be able to bring a lot more to the table, but that's not what they need right then.
Yeah.
Right? Deliver what they're looking for.
Yeah, we only talk about our solution as it relates to solving their problem.
Love it. Love it.
That's it.
Love it. Yeah. And yeah, because people there, what I think it was Donald Miller, right? His phrase, if you confuse, you lose.
Yes. Yeah.
And so many times we confuse people because we want to tell them all the things they get. And they're like, I don't know. So I've learned over the time to, when I get that buying signal, when somebody's like, oh yeah, that's it, zip it. Let's close the sale. Let's gain the client, and then let's serve them and all of that.
Yeah.
You hit something else. I'll come back. It'll hit me.
It'll come back to you, right?
It will. It will. So fundamentals of marketing. So you've got your market. We talked about trout fishing, right?
Yeah.
Now we've got your message, and that's the bait for wrong word, but it's just what are you fishing with? And what you're fishing with is not about you, it's about them.
Yes.
Their challenge, their situation. What are they trying to solve? What's the transformation they're looking for? And then why are you the right person? And then you have this way of putting things together in I call it a system. You call it a plan. Talk a little bit about that, because again, business owners don't have these things. They haven't built their foundation like you talk about. Talk about having the right plan. What is that all about? How do you help them?
Yeah. So planning, I don't care what it is, planning is key to being effective. Because in the absence of a plan, like, everything looks like an opportunity, especially with marketing, right? If I don't have a plan, there's no shortage of gurus or new tactics that come across our inboxes or come across our social feed every week. And if we don't have a plan that outlines what our priorities are, it is so easy to just follow those distractions.
Absolutely.
And when that happens, we just spin our wheels because we go from one thing to the next. So we've got to have a plan. The challenge with marketing planning is people look at it too far out, I think.
Amen.
They put together a 1-year plan. Man, stuff changes way too fast.
Yeah.
Our businesses are evolving quickly. Our marketing needs to evolve with it. And if we put together a year-long plan, inevitably it's too long, it's too complex. And when we make things complex, that gets in the way of implementation, and it gets in our way of experiencing results. So I look at marketing planning in 90-day sprints. Excellent. 90 days is long enough to see traction, but it's short enough where you can make course corrections and then you wash, rinse, repeat every 90 days. So I'm gonna run through this with you real quick, if it's okay.
Yes.
There's 6 steps in this plan. Okay, depending on how long-winded you are, this might be a couple pages, but it could be 1 page. So there's 6 things in here. First step is your target market. You need to have at least a paragraph of who your ideal clients are within your market. You should not have more than 3 ideal client types. If you have more than 3 ideal client types, I think it goes too broad, broadens your focus, and that's going to get in your way. But you need to understand who your ideal clients are, and you want to keep it top of mind who you intend to attract. That's why it's the first step.
That's right.
Second, what's your goal? What's my goal for the next 90 days? This should be, it's going to be time bound because it's a 90-day plan, but it should be specific and measurable. I intend to bring on 5 new clients in the next 90 days. The thing I like to point out to people here is, with a goal like this, it's an outcome-based goal. There are a lot of things beyond our control that may impact our ability to hit that goal. So I tend to focus more on the actions I can take to hit the goal rather than getting caught up in the overall goal itself. But we do need to have an idea of where we're headed. That's why it's in here. Third, what's my budget and what are my resources? This gives you an idea of what you have to work with. Like, if I got $500 a month or $50,000 a month and a complete staff, or if it's just me, either one is totally okay. But it's too easy to bite off more than we can chew if we don't understand exactly what we have to work with. From a resources standpoint, that's time for your staff or you, but it's also capability. If I don't even know what the hell LinkedIn is, I'm probably not the person that should be doing that, or I need to level up my skills to do that. So this is a super important step. Then your 4th step is, where are you starting from? What's your current plan? And Michael, when I say that, I know a lot of people may not have an existing plan. That's okay. But we have to have a baseline of where we're starting from in order to be able to outline what we need to do to get where we want to go. It's like my GPS. I have to tell it where I'm starting from to get to my destination. I want to get to the airport. Well, I need to tell them I'm starting from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and go, what do you want me to do? So that's exactly what we're doing here. I just want you to outline what you've put in place and what you continue to do on a regular basis, so you know what you're doing from a marketing standpoint. The fifth step is my priorities for the next 90 days. Mm-hmm. One of the tools that is in the page that we set up for your audience is a marketing evolution index checklist. This is a guide. It's a checklist that helps give you an idea of, hey, at phase 1, 2, or 3 for my website, what do I need to have in place? So it helps people just kind of check off, yep, I got this, I got this, I got this. Oh, I don't have this. Maybe I need to focus on this for the next 90 days. Right. Yep. Okay. That's a really helpful tool. The last step is the metrics. What metrics am I going to track? So many people that we talk to are like, gosh, I'm doing this marketing, but I don't really think it's working. I don't know what's working. That's because they don't have the metrics outlined that they need to track. The metrics will tell you what's working and what's not, so that you can make educated decisions on what changes you need to make to get where you want to go. It's those 6 steps. That's it.
That's awesome. Wow. You need to go back and listen to that again, because that was really good. It's so many nuggets in there. Is the budget is a big deal, because here's one thing I see a lot of time is a small business owner has a budget that whatever it is, but they're trying to market like the big dogs.
Yes.
And it's like, no. You don't need that. Number one, you don't need that massive of an audience. Number two, they've been doing it for a long time. And number three, you don't know their back end, right?
Yeah.
So don't do that. Have a plan for your business, right?
Yeah.
And I love your 90-day thing. You can have, I tell people you can have a 1-year direction, but 90-day plans, because you don't know this, we're launching a coaching program next week that was not part of our annual planning back in December. But because of changes in the marketplace and what I've heard from clients over the last 6 weeks, really, I thought, okay, time out. We've got to insert something to help them out. Had I had a 1-year plan, that wasn't part of it. Sorry, we're not doing that. No, I'm responding to the market changes, just like you said, being flexible. I still have my 1-year direction. This fits. It just wasn't in the plan, right? So I love that flexibility that you have to build into it. And then you talked about, if you don't know LinkedIn or something, you either need to learn it or find somebody who does. I'm a big proponent of find somebody who does, because as entrepreneurs, I'm only good, Tim, at 4 things, okay, in life. That's it. Outside of that, I'm mediocre at best. So I work really, really hard to stay in my 4 things, and Facebook and social media, that ain't it. So I hire that done. I oversee it, but I hire it done so I can stay focused on what I'm best at, and my business keeps growing. I see too many entrepreneurs, I'm sure you do too, who are trying to do everything. And it just kills you.
It kills you. It dilutes your focus, and it makes your business not fun.
And because it takes your motivation away. You know, when my wife tells me, my wife's my bookkeeper, when she says, hey, I need you to look into this, I'm like, give me a stick and poke me in the eye. I don't want to do that. I want to stay here. That's why I'm paying you. Go do it. So there are things I have to do, but I don't want to, because I've got to be energy up, connecting with people like you. This is what I do, right? And when we get outside of our area of expertise or passion, it goes south really fast. So don't do it.
Totally agree. Totally
all because you have, but that's easier when you have a plan. When you set together a plan, and if you don't have a plan, I'm sure you've got a simple plan. Build a foundation. Look at what you did last year and say, okay, I want to improve on that. I mean, Tim ran a business. I love this, Tim. I was reading your bio. You ran a business one time that was growing at, was it 60% a year for?
Crazy. Our distribution company grew at on average 60% a year for 9 years.
Okay. That'll like drive you into the insane asylum if you don't have systems and plans.
You can't, it's when you're growing that fast, it's really hard to anticipate everything that's coming at you.
Right.
You just can't.
Well, and business owners always want that kind of growth, but they don't understand you get there with a plan, just like you've outlined, this foundational plan, because when you have a solid foundation, they're doing a lot of construction around my house right now and building bridges and things. And dude, they dig down deep to plant those pillars to hold the bridge.
Yes, they do.
And it takes them a long time. And we're like, are they ever going to get this project done? Well, then it starts, once they have the foundation laid, everything else happens pretty quickly, right? But in business, we just jump in. We're like, I'm great at what I do. I'm just going to start a business. I'm just going to run and people are going to buy from me.
Well, and one of the big hangups a lot of people have with planning is they're just like, "God, I don't know if this is the right plan."
Yeah.
Well, it's not and I think I heard this read this in the book, The Slight Edge from Jeff Olson, where he said the plan you start with is not the plan you're going to end with. So it's never going to be the perfect plan. You just have to put a plan together, work the plan, and then look at it. What worked, what didn't, make the updates you need to, and then just start it all over again. You're never going to have the perfect plan. You have to put it together and you have to take action. We all take imperfect action. We learn so much from the actions we take. Oh my God, that flopped, that didn't work. Why?
Yeah.
And then you make so much better decisions moving forward.
Yeah.
But you don't have that until you actually start taking action.
And I love that, because I talk to business owners so much who they're afraid to lose money or waste money in marketing. And it's like, no. You got to understand that's an education, number one. And number two, if you don't go down that road and implement and try something, you're going to lose money because you're not growing, right? So
yes,
it's not about winning and losing money. It's about learning, growing, adapting, changing, modifying. And I love that your plan is never right. It's not like this concrete. It's not like the U.S. Constitution, right?
No.
It's a directional GPS in a sense, right? Here's where I'm going. Great, I get there. Now what? Well, what's the next 90 days?
That's right. Well, and you got to start, and you are going to make mistakes. Even people like you and I, Michael, that are in marketing day in, day out, we can take the frameworks that we know have worked in the past, but there's always little nuances.
Right.
I created my list of where people are, and I decided to jump in and start engaging in some Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. Some of those groups are going to work. Some are going to absolutely flop. Okay. So nothing is ever going to work 100%. You got to just take the action and look at what's happening and then make course corrections based on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you've really framed all of this, and you had a name, and it was like, I called the marketing triad. You called it the marketing.
Oh, I call it the marketing strategy trilogy.
There you go. I love that, because I love naming things, number one, but it puts things, it's your market, it's your message. And then for you, it's the plan.
Yeah.
It's the plan, because without the plan, well, you can get some success, but the plan really brings it all together and puts rocket fuel to your system, and to say, okay, now I know where my fish are, right? I know the right bait. Now let's put a plan together to go fishing.
And you touched on this too. I think you touched on this before we went on air. The fundamentals, and I love how you just said rocket fuel. That's the way I look at the fundamentals. Any tactic can work. It's like, it doesn't matter. The tactics aren't as important as what you put behind them. And the fundamentals are the rocket fuel that you put behind the tactics so that they actually work. Yeah.
It is so clear. And going back to something you mentioned, is your plan doesn't have to be elaborate. No. It needs to be enough that you understand your target audience. The phrase I'm using, I learned from one of my coaches, is, do you know your target audience well enough that you could write an entry in their diary, their journal? Do you know them that well? That could be a paragraph, right? 2 or 3 sentences. Here's what I'm struggling with. I hate it when this happens. I'm feeling whatever. When you know your audience like that, now you can craft your message to connect just with that, to solve that need.
Yep.
And voila.
Yeah. Your message is in their language, not yours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's about them, not you.
Yep.
And that plays out with so many things, whether you're doing webinars, Facebook ads, websites, direct mail. So it doesn't matter. That message is key, because here's what I see a lot of times. You probably see it too. Somebody does a Facebook ad, they drive to a landing page, and the message is different.
Yes.
And so you have a disconnect there. It's like, where am I? Right?
Yeah.
You have to be consistent. And then when they opt in to get a video or a download or whatever, there has to be more consistency there. And the beautiful thing is, when you follow a plan like Tim's lined out, you know your audience, you have a clear message. Now the question is, how many different ways can you state that message and keep it consistent to hit the different needs of your audience. It's not
Yes.
hard. Once you do what Tim has told you, it actually becomes simple. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Yes, that's a really important distinction that I talk about all the time. Marketing can be simple, right? But there is effort, right? When we say something is easy, it means like there's no effort. There is effort in marketing, but it can be simple. We do not have to make it complex.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think I told you before we came on this, but I always tell my audience, the 3 words I live by: clarify, simplify, multiply. We want to clarify your message, which you've taught us about, really understanding your audience and your message. Simplify your marketing. Have a plan, just like Tim's outline here. And then that leads to multiplication, right? Your business will grow when you put those in the right order. Yeah. And too many times I talk with business owners, you probably do too, who want the multiplication, but they haven't clarified a message. They don't know their audience well enough, and they don't have a plan in place. Again, this is not rocket science, but it takes somebody like Tim. And you mentioned it earlier, Tim, and I've got coaches who look into my business from a marketing perspective and say, Delon, what are you doing? Do it this way. And I'm the marketing guy, right? Because I'm so close to my business, I can't see it clearly, right?
It's hard.
A marketing guy that I've followed for 35 years has a phrase. He's like, the business owner is uniquely unqualified to make good decisions about his own business, because he is inside the bottle, like a Coke bottle, looking out, trying to read what the label says. I can tell you, Tim, what's wrong with your business easily. And you can do the same for me, because you're an outside perspective, right? We all need coaches. We all need help. We all need people like Tim who can take you and guide you down this pathway of really identifying your market, understanding how to create a clear, compelling message, and then having a simple foundation plan for your business, your marketing business, that you can run with. Create a direction, as I would call it, a 1-year direction, but a 90-day action steps with Tim and what you've got. I love what you're doing. I love how you talk. How do people get a hold of some more information? I know you've created this is really cool. You're the first guy. I mean, I interview a lot of people, Tim. Yeah. You're the first guy that I know of that put a website up on your page just for my audience. And you've got like 6 or 7 free downloads, no opt-in required. You mentioned one of them. And then they can obviously schedule a call to talk with you about market. Where is that page? How do people reach out and talk to you more?
Sure. Thanks, Michael. So if they go to our website, which is Rialto Marketing, RIALTO marketing.com, and then /experts-speak. And on that page, like you said, there's some free marketing fundamental resources to dig a little bit deeper on the stuff we've touched on today. You don't even have to opt in. But if you do start looking at those and you're like, oh my God, my head's starting to spin, I need some help, just schedule a free consult. There's a button there on that page. There's a button all over our website that just says get a free consult. I'd be happy to talk to them and just give them some clarity on what those next steps should be for them based on where they are and where they want to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as you guys can tell from Tim's tone of voice, he's very high pressure sales. He's going to twist your arm and not let you off Zoom. I share that jokingly because I think that's what people think, that if I schedule that call with Tim, I've got to buy into his program. And we have so much to share with people. We just want to help people, direct them. And sometimes having a 30-minute call with Tim, he'll hear you and he's like, have you ever thought about this? Why don't you do that? And that's enough to get you going. And then you know what that just did? It built trust. Yeah. So that 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, you're like, I'm going to go back to that Tim guy. I liked him. I'm going to hire him to help me. That's what those calls are all about. Are we a good fit? Does this make sense for you?
That's it. I don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole.
No, so that's bad for everybody.
Yeah. If you're not ready, you're not ready, and that's okay. But on that call, I'll do my best to give you as much value as I can. And if it makes sense to continue chatting, then we will. And if not, that's okay. That's
great. Well, Tim, I've enjoyed chatting. You've added great value to my life and many others in understanding the marketing strategy trilogy. Here are my takeaways, right? That's really cool. Why not everyone is your market? I thought that was really cool how you talked about defining your market and you talked about trout fishing and things. Yeah. And then I'm calling it your framework for defining your message. You get that really unique aspect, and then building your plan in a 90-day focus action plan to get things done so that you stay focused. So Tim, thank you so much for being here, man. This has been phenomenal. Let me encourage my listeners to go and check out. I've got it in the show notes too, but it's rialtomarketing.com. And then you can go, /experts-speak to get all the freebies that Tim's offering there. Schedule a call with him, hang out with him a little bit, find out what he's about, because I think you can really, really help a lot of people. So Tim, thank you so much for being my guest on Experts Speak.
Thanks so much, Michael.